Welcome back to the Road to National series. In today's episode, I'm going to take you through a dynamic effort lower workout. So my variation for this 3-week wave here is an 18-inch box squat, which I just do off my bench. And for this week, it's the second week in my 3-week wave. So I am doing 80% total resistance. That's bar plus band tension for 3 sets of 5. So these moved very well, and the main thing that I was trying to do, the reason I chose box squats for this 3-week cycle, was I'm trying to allow my knee to feel good. For those who followed the series so far, you'll know I've been working through a knee injury, and if I'd done a free squat and tried to bounce out of the bottom, that would put a lot of pressure on the knee. So I did the box squats anyway, and I had no knee pain, so that was a massive victory, and managed to get some good explosive squats in there. Moving on to the accessories. The first accessory here is hip extensions, and I was happy because I was able to load these the heaviest I ever have done. Because of my new calibrated plates, because they're a bit thinner, I could balance that 25 kilo plate on top of the 50 kilo plate, which I already had. So previously I've only been able to use the 50 kilo plates, and I'd done them for sets of 15, and here with the 75 kilos total weight, I managed to get sets of 12. So only a 3-rep drop off for a 50% increase in weight. So I think that means I just have loads more in the tank. However, these hip extensions still absolutely burnt my hamstrings out, particularly in this second set. Grip was somewhat of a limiting factor here, so I am going to get a device called a hyperloader, which is basically a set of handles where you can stack the plates in the middle so that grip isn't an issue like that. I just had to drop the plates, but the hamstrings and glutes would definitely hit effectively. Now, moving on to the next exercise, it is quad extensions here. I was sticking at 120 pounds, which is fairly light for me, but the reason again is my knee. I'm just trying to slowly, progressively overload the weight back. So last workout, when I did these dual leg quad extensions, I did 100 pounds. So today I decided to do 120 pounds, and these moved really well. And this first set I didn't push to absolute failure. I pushed pretty hard. It looks really smooth and easy. I think because I'm used to pushing to failure all the time, I'm used to like some dramatic slam down of the weight at the end where I literally can't lift it at all anymore, and clearly that first set wasn't that. However, that was actually the most amount of reps I've ever been able to get at 120 pounds, and I don't think I quite managed to match it on this second set, but this second set definitely was to failure. So my quads are actually pretty much at their all-time strongest, even though I've been focusing on just making them feel good and rehabbing them from my knee injury. So I was very happy with these, and definitely in terms of quad size, my legs are the biggest they've ever been. They're measuring like 28 inches or something. So yes, I do in fact measure some of my arms and legs, mainly to track actually progressive overload. Like, it's hard to tell from a hypertrophy standpoint when you're looking at yourself every day. Like, you can't suddenly tell if you've got bigger. You're never going to make progress fast enough to do that, particularly like me. If I've been training multiple years, like I'm 5 years into training, I'm not suddenly going to see a huge improvement. So taking measurements can be a good way of tracking progressive overload for your body parts. Now, moving on to the next accessory here, I did calf raises at 150 kilos. So I decided to not do these off an elevated block and just do them flat, because I actually feel a much better contraction off the flat. When I do the elevated ones, I get a significantly better stretch, but there's something about trying to go from that really deep stretch position where I can't contract the weight all the way up as well. Whereas if I just do these straight off the floor, I seem to get a much better contraction on the calves. It doesn't really matter. I suggest you rotate different exercise variations. Like, people often try and debate what the best thing to do is, and there's been loads of studies within the science-based community, like what's more effective for muscle growth, like lengthened partials or the contraction, or all of these different modalities. It doesn't matter. Train all of them. Like, rotate the different variations, and then whatever benefit any variation provides, you'll have got that benefit because at some point you'll have trained it. So that is my advice. Use every type of variation of all types of exercises. So do multiple different types of calf raises, etc. So the final accessory here was hip abductions. Now, I was feeling pretty fatigued during this workout, so I couldn't be bothered to get the roller out and do like the heavier hip abductions, but these managed to hit the glutes and the abductors very well. I was trying to explosively kick the band out to the side. So normally when I do hip abductions, I'm trying to control myself on the way out and the way in, but here with this band tension, I just saw it as a good opportunity to try and explode the weight. So last few reps here. It's a pretty short video because I did decide to skip the very last exercise, which was supposed to be reverse hypers, but because I'd already done hip extensions, reverse hypers are a very similar movement. They're like a hip extension just in reverse. So I decided to leave things here because I was so tired. So that is it for today's video. I hope you did in fact enjoy the video. If you did, drop it a like, drop it a comment, subscribe, click the bell, all of that good stuff, and have a great day.